There's nothing like a really loyal, dependable, good friend. Nothing. Jennifer Aniston.
In this world, friendships are truly important for a number of reasons, and your desire for friends is natural. This quote hints at that. Friendships, according to research, can have a huge influence on your state of well-being and overall health. Some of the key benefits of friendship include an increased sense of purpose and belonging, stress reduction, improved happiness, greater self-worth and self-confidence, reduced risk of depression, and better coping skills. Friends are a means of support when times are bad, and are there to cheer along with you during the good times. They offer companionship when needed, and stave off loneliness and isolation.
If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. Dale Carnegie.
So, if you want to win friends over and keep them, then the first thing you ought to realize is that it is unwise to scold. You will have enough problems trying to overcome your own limitations without concerning yourself with reasons why God has endowed some people with ignorance and stupidity. Most of the time, people will not criticize themselves for anything they may have done, no matter how wrong. What Carnegie is pointing out in this quote is that criticism is futile, since it makes the other person defensive and makes them seek to justify themselves. Criticism can be dangerous because a person's pride can be wounded by it. It also hurts their sense of importance and encourages resentment. We all yearn for approval in one way or another, but we hate any form of condemnation.
When we assign blame, we are pointing the finger to who or what is responsible for a fault, or for a wrongdoing. We are trying to make others accountable. Blaming does not solve a problem, it usually only makes people defensive. Catherine Pulsifer.
The next thing to keep in mind when you are trying to make friends is that it is best not to blame too quickly, if at all. When you blame, you are placing the responsibility for where you are or what has happened onto something or someone else, instead of taking responsibility for your contribution to what has happened. Blame shapes your life. It can be a gentle way to position yourself, a simple push or quip, or it can be damaging, hurtful, or toxic for its victims. It has the ability to destroy marriages and break work relationships. It can do great harm to powerful companies. It can cause governments to collapse, and even start wars. When your goal is to win people over, it's best not to blame. Instead, you should focus on solutions, not the blame. There is nothing to be gained from blaming. Finding a way to remedy the situation is part of how friendships are developed. So instead of condemnation, try understanding people. Try figuring out why they do what they do.
Don't complain about the snow on your neighbor's roof when your own doorstep is unclean. Confucius.
If you would be friends with anyone, you should also avoid complaining. Before you try to change them, you should begin with yourself. That's what this quote is saying. Complaining often feels toxic on an emotional level. Especially when someone is already stressed, it won't take much for your complaining and their negative response to make it worse, and cause a prolonged cycle of negativity. Complaining may also lead to them complaining about you.
William James said, "The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated."
This quote points out the great need everyone has to be appreciated. We all want to feel important. So from a friendship standpoint, it is best to always keep this in mind. Always give appreciation, and make sure that it's sincere and honest. This is not about flattery, which seldom works, since it's insincere and selfish. It's the desire for appreciation and feeling of importance, that inspired men and women to write great symphonies, to amass riches, to drive fancy cars, and build large houses.
Taking an interest in what others are thinking and doing is often a much more powerful form of encouragement than praise. Robert Martin.
From this quote, you should realize that one very important thing in developing friendships is your interest in others' lives. This is a very powerful thing for them. People are more interested in themselves than they are in you. So if you want to build a friendship, do things for others. Do things that will require your thoughtfulness, unselfishness, energy, and time. When you show interest, however, it must be sincere. This sincerity must not only pay off for you, but also for the other person. You are more likely to make friends when you become genuinely interested in the other person.
Your smile will give you a positive countenance that will make people feel comfortable around you. Les Brown.
This quote encourages you to put a smile on your face. When making friends, a smile is one way of making people feel comfortable around you. Your smile transmits your friendliness. It also brightens up people's lives when they see it. What the quote is referring to is a sincere smile, not an insincere one. If your smile is insincere, it will not fool anyone.
Remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Dale Carnegie.
In this quote, you are being made aware of one of the main things you need to do when seeking to win friends, and that is to remember their name. It may be difficult, when you meet people, to always remember their name, so train yourself to do so, because it makes them feel important and special. Take the time to repeat a person's name when you first hear it. This will help you to remember. A person's name is very important and special to them. It makes them unique and sets them apart.
A good listener truly wants to know the speaker. John Powell.
If you want to build friendships, then this quote is giving you great advice. Whenever you are talking to anyone, keep in mind that they are more likely to be interested in themselves and their own issues and needs than they are in your issues and you. So when engaging in conversation, be an attentive listener. Be interested in the other person. Ask them questions they will love answering. Get them to talk about their achievements and themselves. This will better help you understand them and their point of view.
The ability to show genuine interest in others is an admirable quality of a true friend. Phil Callaway.
Callaway in this quote points out a key element in winning friends, and that is, to be a true friend, you should show genuine interest in the other person. So, if someone likes kites, then you best talk about those things that have to do with kites. Whatever interests the other person is what you should talk about as much as you can. It's not difficult to talk in terms of what the other person is interested in. You simply have to be willing to do so. You must be patient and be a good listener. And be smart enough in asking a couple of good questions.
No matter how busy you are, you must take time to make the other person feel important. Mary Kay Ash.
Arguably, the most important thing you will learn when trying to win friends is represented by this quote, and that is to sincerely make people feel important. Without seeking to gain something out of the other person, try passing some honest appreciation. We all want to feel important in their world. We all want to be recognized for our true worth. No one wishes to listen to flattery that is insincere and cheap. Some of the ways you can make someone feel important include listening to them when they are talking, showing your admiration, using their name, and showing it through your gestures.
Strength lies in differences, not in similarities. Stephen Covey.
Finally, this quote speaks to one important thing in friendships. You don't have to share the same hobbies and vision with someone in order to engender a true friendship. So don't pass any judgment on anyone if they have a different mindset than yours. When you do so, you will miss out on a chance to make a friend. Your differences can often be the glue that not only holds your friendship together, but also strengthens it.